The portal continues to fill up with Temple Owls. We have an updated list, and it's long.
Plus, football head coach Casey Keeler talks about spring practices and one area he sees as a big improvement.
I'm Haley Smith, live outside of Edberg Olson Hall. Later in the show, I'll take you inside of Temple football's Pro Day, where almost a dozen Owls got to show off their skills to NFL scouts.
And I'm James Urban across campus, all of the latest on the grand opening of the new tennis complex.
At the studio set, I'm Gabriel Linnington. A fencing superstar at Temple is coming to the end of her collegiate career. Our sports update is live and it starts right now.
Welcome to OwlSports Update. I'm Natalie Koranda.
And I'm Jackson Batchler. It's that time of the year we get to see the first glimpse of the football team. We will hear from head coach Casey Keeler coming up.
But first, about a dozen former Temple football players spent this week on campus showing off in front of pro coaches. It was Pro Day on campus with more than 20 scouts in attendance. OwlSports Update's Haley Smith is live outside Edberg Olson Hall to give us a look at how it all went down. Hi, Haley.
Hi guys, we got to watch a few Owls showcase their skills in front of professional scouts last week. Many Temple football players have been drafted into the NFL in recent past. This group of graduates looks to continue that trend.
It could be the most important job interview that these players ever face. Temple football hosted its annual Pro Day last week to give draft-eligible players the chance to show off their skills in front of professional coaches. 11 Owls took part in drills such as the 40-yard dash, the broad jump, the shuttle, and the 3-cone drill.
It means a lot to show my growth and show my weight gain, my speed since the season to now.
With more than 24 scouts in attendance today, it is one of the biggest days of these athletes' career.
And former Temple kicker Maddox Trujillo was front and center after his record-breaking season with the Owls in 2024.
I've shown that I can hit 64. I wanted to hit 65 today to show that I have more, and I think my 65-yarder had more to spare on it than just 65.
Details matter, details is everything, the little things turn to big things, just trying to focus on those.
Maddox Trujillo and DJ Woodbury were also the only 2 Owls at the NFL Combine last month.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, obviously, for everyone, but it was really cool, especially as a kicker.
The NFL Draft kicks off on April 24th in Green Bay. That leaves many Owls waiting a few more weeks to find out if they got the job.
There are about 20 days left until the NFL Draft. One guy who knows this process well is Jordan McGee. He is one of the latest Owls to be selected in the NFL in the 5th round.
It's been amazing ever since, I've just been trying to do my thing, go out there and compete to the best of my ability, and try to stay healthy. I've been in their shoes. I was at Temple for 5 years, so, this is like one of the biggest moments of their life. They're putting all that hard work they did for 4 or 5 years, it's finally showing off. You get to go out there in front of the scouts and show your abilities, and, what else could you ask for at the end of the day? You playing the game you love since you was a young kid. I would say, keep having fun. You got here for a reason. God put you in this position for a reason. Continue to do what you're doing and just have fun. And work hard.
McGee recorded 9 tackles in 8 games played in his rookie season with the Commanders. Live at Edberg Olson Hall, I'm Haley Smith. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Haley. Casey Keeler is quickly approaching the final week or so of spring football. Getting to know an entirely new team in a matter of weeks is not easy.
One area of focus has to be the offensive line. The Owls had the worst run game in the AAC in 2024. Now just 10 practices into the spring, the new head coach is focused on both the offensive and defensive lines, but it's been the offense where he's seen the biggest jump.
Well, I think, the defensive line has been really going into this, we felt was probably the deepest position. I think the most improved position on this football team is our offensive line. It's been really impressive how they have grown in 10 short practices. So, yeah, I mean, I think we all came into this thinking that, a position of concern was our offensive line, and we have to get better there. But, boy, they've improved dramatically.
And what do you think of seeing this second practice back with that?
Football's got a new head coach, and tennis has a new facility along with a first-year head coach. It's a new era for the men's and women's tennis teams. OwlSports Update's James Urban is live with the new courts to break down last Friday's grand opening. Hey, James.
Hey guys, the tennis program has officially started competing on its new home court. The tennis complex had its grand opening last Friday, where the men's and women's team not only had their ribbon cutting, but their first real match.
It took 10 months to open, $2.5 million to build, and now Temple's newest athletic facility is officially open for business. Friday's ribbon cutting gave players and fans their first look at the new 52,000 square foot tennis complex on the west side of campus.
It's huge. It's a game changer. It literally changes everything. It helps with the recruiting. It helps just with our day-to-day life to have amazing courts.
The previous courts, which had been worn down over the years, left Temple without a true home. It forced the Owls to practice and play matches at various locations, such as Penn and Drexel.
The new men's and women's tennis complex broke ground in May of 2024. Now in March of 2025, the brand new 52,000 square foot facility will serve as the new home for the men's and women's tennis program, and they look for it to be a home court advantage.
Both tennis teams have been practicing on the new court since October, but Friday was the first official match with a win against Siena.
It's huge. It's a big win for us, for Temple as well. We really appreciate this festival. A lot of people had to come together to make this happen, and we're super excited for the future matches.
So we're looking forward to using these courts, having that energy come out, and just bringing our best out here for the Temple crowd.
The new courts are also paving the way for future campus developments. The space where the old courts once stood will now be used to construct a new building to house the Klein College of Media and Communication, along with the Center for Performing Arts.
The men's team was supposed to be playing behind me right now, but due to the rain this morning, their match today against Drexel got postponed to 2:30, and we'll have the recap for you on that match next Thursday. They come into the match today at 10 and 7. Live from the tennis complex, I'm James Urban. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, James. It's time for our first time out of the show, but there's still plenty to cover. Up next, Temple lacrosse continues to struggle in conference.
Also coming up later in the show, we'll be joined by Tristan Taylor and Kayla Turner from the women's basketball team. And OwlSports Update's Gabriel Linnington will highlight senior fencer Anna Novoseltseva's 4 years playing at McGonigal Hall, as her time at Temple is soon to come to an end. Stick around. Welcome back. Men's basketball ended its season only a few weeks ago, yet a handful of Owls are already looking for a new home via the transfer portal. Temple isn't only losing veterans, but some young players as well.
It's already been a turbulent offseason for the men's basketball team. 5 graduating seniors, and that doesn't include the transfer portal, which has not been kind to the Cherry and White. The portal has only been open for a week, and there is already a list of Owls jumping in. Redshirt sophomore Quante Berry, freshman forward Dylan Battie, sophomore guard Zion Stanford, and junior forward Elijah Gray.
Has everything to do with revenue share now. I think they could decide to come back. I don't know that they will, but everything that's happening right now is very agent-driven.
Each of the 4 current Owls in the portal played key roles for a team that dealt with injuries all season. Stanford is the best example. He finished second on the team in scoring.
Watching in the year and just how good they were to the team, it doesn't shock me, especially being a mid-major school like Temple is. You're always gonna have people kind of dipping their toe into the portal.
Head coach Adam Fisher is accustomed to these offseason turnarounds. In his first offseason in 2023, Fisher lost 6 players between graduation and the transfer portal. And last year, Fisher lost a total of 7 players.
I wouldn't rule out anybody coming back to Adam Fisher and saying this is what's out there. and you just don't know what's going to happen with these guys when a lot of money's being thrown around and more than 1,000 guys are in the portal now.
The portal is open until April 22nd, so there's plenty of time for more current Owls to leave Temple. Either way, next year's team is guaranteed to look a lot different from this past year's team.
As the portal numbers continue to grow, there are 2 new Owls who join their fellow teammates by jumping into the portal. Junior guard Jameel Brown and senior guard Lynn Greer III, who was suspended indefinitely this season, are in the portal. The Owls have already lost impact players such as Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Steve Settle III to graduation. Something else worth mentioning, 3-star recruit Cam Miles has decommitted from the program as well.
With these Owls flying to the portal, we wanted to bring on Courts in Session beat reporter Xavier Adams to give his thoughts on where this program goes from here.
Xavier, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Xavier, which, if any, has been the most surprising Owl thus far to enter the transfer portal?
For most surprising, I'll have to go with sophomore guard Zion Stanford. I think in the later half of last season, he had a really strong ending, and we saw him start to bloom under that coach Adam Fisher squad. But now as he's entered the transfer portal, we have him along with 5 other Owls and 4 graduating seniors. You have 10 total Owls off of the squad, so it's gearing up.
Now, Xavier, being in the portal does not necessarily mean they're gone and they're gone. Is there any chance, who do you think could return, coming back to Broad after weighing their options?
In all honesty, it's hard to say at the moment. With the current state of college ball and NIL, we're seeing more players in the transfer portal than ever before. And, we're seeing teams all over the nation, it seems, get flipped completely overnight. And recruitment hasn't been too kind to Temple either. Like it was said, they recently lost their 3-star commitment, Cam Miles, so they're going through it currently.
Xavier, you just touched on it, but how much of an effect do you think all these guys jumping in the portal really has on recruitment now?
I think it just makes it harder for recruiters to give these high school guys a clear picture of the team that they're joining. That and the fact that there are, like I said, so many players already in the transfer portal. A lot of these roster spots are getting taken up by these older players, so it just makes the job that much more difficult. And for Adam Fisher, now again, he seems to need to have to build an almost new entire team overnight almost.
Good information. It's going to be an interesting offseason.
Xavier, thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
After a 3-game skid, women's lacrosse hosted East. After a 3-game skid, women's lacrosse hosted East Carolina on Saturday. With 5 minutes left in the first half, Sarah Gauman hits her defender with a spin move and scores. In the third quarter, Temple scored 4 unanswered goals to make it 10-6. But in the fourth quarter, the Pirates come all the way back and tie it up with 4 seconds left. And in extra time, Riley Mathieson threads the needle, and the Pirates get the overtime win, 11-10.
ECU was the first conference matchup at home this season. Despite being picked 3rd in the preseason poll, the young team has faced its struggles. The Owls are currently standing at a 2-9 overall record and an 0-2 conference record. That leaves the Owls as one of the 2 teams in the conference without a win. The team is looking to get into the win column this Saturday in Nashville in a game against Vandy. But it's time to step aside for our second break of the afternoon.
Stick around as we'll break down men's crew's performance at the Princeton exhibition, as well as results from the women's track at the Towson Invitational. We'll be back in a minute 30.
Plus a visit from 2 stars on women's basketball team.
Welcome back. On Saturday, the men's crew team headed to the Garden State to participate in an exhibition match between Princeton, Georgetown, and LaSalle. The event took place at Lake Carnegie, which is right near Princeton's campus. The hosts were victorious in all 4 varsity 8s. As for the Owls, they finished in 3rd. The team will return back to campus to host the Schuylkill Invitational on April 12th.
Women's track and field traveled to Maryland to compete at the Towson Invitational. The Owls finished the meet with 3 event victories as Nia Brown finished 1st in the 100-meter hurdles and the highest for Temple in the 100-meter dash with a 13th place finish. She also set a personal best time of 12.34. Jade Pope took home 2nd in the 400-meter dash. The Owls dominated in the field with Amira Green securing 1st in high jump, clearing 1.65 meters. Timeouts are officially back here at OwlSports Update, and today we have the privilege of being joined by 2 guests.
Tristan Taylor and Kayla Turner from women's basketball are in the house. Tristan and Kayla, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
All righty, guys. So to start off, what brought both of you to Temple?
Coming from Dallas, I feel like I just needed a place where I could call home and a family. When I came up here, the coaches really made it feel like that. And Philly is very different, but I really like it so far.
I really like the coaching staff when I first got here on my visit, and having our own practice facility, I can get in there anytime I want, really get up shots, and I like the entire Philly city and all the food and stuff. So.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty here. Where's your guys' favorite place to eat on campus?
Probably the student center.
Yeah, Twisted Taco probably.
Yeah, Twisted.
That's a good one. Now another one. If you guys didn't play basketball, which sports would it be?
Probably softball.
Probably flag football for me.
Why softball?
I played it. I played it while I was playing basketball. Actually, I just stopped because it was interfering with basketball. But my dad was played baseball, and I just inherited from him, honestly.
And why flag football?
Really because I'm quick and I like to juke, so I just like running the ball and catching it and running, so.
And then what is your go-to pregame song?
My go-to pregame song is any gospel song by Pastor Mike, honestly.
Mine's probably Nothing Even Matters by Lauryn Hill.
I love that. And being Division I athletes, you guys travel a lot. So what's been your favorite stops throughout your careers? The most exciting, your favorite?
I would say this past year when we went to Cali, it was beautiful out there, and I really enjoyed Cali for sure.
Yeah, I'm agree with her, probably Cali. Mm-hmm.
And just to follow up on that, what's the one difficult thing about being on the road and that the average fan doesn't realize?
Probably the studying we have to do, the study hall and the missing class and just having to keep up with that.
I would definitely say the same thing. Missing classes a lot, especially if like finance, like hard classes like that, trying to study and make sure you're getting your work done on time and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then final question for you guys. Who do you guys think is going to win it all in March Madness on both the men's and women's side?
I honestly think South Carolina can do it again. And on men's side, probably Duke, because I don't really watch too many men's. But
yeah, I don't really watch men's, so I'm going to just agree and say Duke. But women's, I don't know. I think I'm going with Texas, I think. So we'll see.
You're going with Texas?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are out of time for this edition of Time Out. Tristan and Kayla, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
We are also up against our final break of the day. When we return, we'll talk about a senior fencer who has had nothing short of a legendary career. We're back in 90. Welcome back. Senior foilist Anna Novoseltsova has excelled in pretty much everything she's done in her 4 years with the Cherry and White. OwlSports Update's Gabriel Linnington is live from the studio set to break down her outstanding career. Hey, Gabe.
Thanks, Jackson. We are always talking about how the fencing team is so dominant here at Temple. But there is one player in particular who has created a legacy at the Nest over the past 4 years.
Temple! Excellence in fencing is a familiar setting for Temple, and a few fencers have lived up to this standard better than Anna Novoseltsova.
I think I'm most proud of just being able to go to NCAA 4 times. I really didn't think that was possible. I thought, oh, maybe I can go once or twice.
A champion on the strip and a scholar in the classroom, earning 16 different awards and accolades during her collegiate career.
It was among my responsibilities coming in was to make sure that she, lived up to her potential, and she's far exceeded it.
What has been impressive for both Jenny and I to see is that she's continued to grow.
Novoseltsova won 132 bouts in her 4 seasons.
And just being a student athlete in general, I think it takes a lot of resilience and discipline to be able to be successful in both. So I think that'll really help me in my future career.
Now, as a senior, Anna is on the brink of graduation as she gets ready for May. Through fencing here on North Broad, she's been able to acquire skills that don't necessarily apply for just athletics, but allow her to excel outside the nest.
I know that she will continue to push to grow in her profession, just like she did as a fencer, that she's always going to look for the solutions, even when they're not right there in front of her.
Anna's future plans are not set. Likely something in the medical field, possibly graduate school. Either way, her time at Temple will be remembered.
fencing will likely not be a central component for Novoseltsova in the future as much as it has been throughout her life. But the skills and relationships she has made in her time on North Broad will stay with her forever. Reporting from the studio set, I'm Gabriel Linnington. Back to you guys on the desk.
Thanks, Gabriel. A handful of spring sports are either at or near the end, so we're going to reflect on two Owls who stood out for their respective teams.
Natalie and I are going to give our thoughts on who we think were the superstars of the spring semester, at least so far.
Now, Jackson, for me, I'm going to go with Taylor Grohlman. She's been a crucial player for the lacrosse team all season long. The senior was named AAC Preseason Goalkeeper of the Year and was selected to the AAC Preseason All-Conference team. She later earned an AAC honorable mention for her performance in the home opener against Ryder, where she recorded 11 saves and limited the Bronx to just 1 of 6 on free position shots. She had a season high of saves in the matchup against USF with 19 and has had a total of 106 this season alone. She only has 5 games to go, like as does the whole team, so she does have a chance of beating her 2024 season record of 127 this season.
Well, Natalie, for my player, I'm going with gymnast Brooke Donabedian. The graduate student was recently named as the 2025 EAGL Specialist of the Year. This is the first in program history to do so. Donabedian also completed the regular season with second team All-EAGL honors on the beam. On February 8th, she posted a season-high 9.925 on the beam against Penn and Fisk, and this score was the highest of the season on the beam for the Owls, and it tied a previous career high for Donabedian. The Washington native was also impressive on the floor as she scored a 9.925 on March 7th at the Rutgers Quad Meet. Donabedian's season and career with the Owls has come to an end. She spent all 5 of her college years right here on Broad and Montgomery.
Now, as for Grohlman, it is also her final season as an Owl, but her team still has about a month left in the 2025 spring season.
Let's take a look at the weekend calendar. Starting off on Friday, track is in Princeton for the Sam Howell Invitational, while women's tennis hosts the New Jersey Institute of Technology. Moving on to Saturday, women's rowing faces Delaware on the Schuylkill River. Lacrosse is the last event of the weekend, traveling to Nashville to play Vanderbilt.
Can't get enough of OwlSports Update? Well, you're in luck. Catch a brand new sports brief on Monday on all socials. And 1 week from today, Sarah Winton and Sam Cavone are back on the desk with more coverage on spring sports starting at noon on TUTV. And that'll do it for this edition of OwlSports Update. And if you come back, Cherry and White game is coming up next Saturday, April 5th. So from everybody, we have a special coming also on the 15th of April with a new crew to cover that Cherry and White game.
Yeah, be on the lookout. That will air 3 days after the Cherry and White game, as the Cherry and White game will be next Saturday, and that will be an Inside the Nest special for this show. But for everyone at TV Studio 3 here in Annenberg Hall, she is Natalie Koranda, and I'm Jackson Batchler. Have a great and safe weekend, and as always, go Owls.